working with Kody and Robyn to try to fix anything?
Like, no, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. All these things how you feel. I think it's going to be so much easier for you just to move on and get past everything and really release.
I remember like the first couple of years, I'm like, I don't even want to think about it. And now I'm kind of like, okay, what do I need to do here to like finally really put this, like end this like completely? I just need to make sure all the little pieces are in place.
Hi besties. Welcome back to my channel. Today, Janelle Brown is about to embark on a mission, a very personal mission, to secure a spiritual release from Kody Brown. The twist here is that she's going to the leaders of the Church of the Apostolic United Brethren for this release. Yet the very prophet who is granting it is embroiled in a lawsuit with his own spiritual wife. She claims she's been trying to get her own release for decades and is battling him over property she says he's taken from her. So, in an ironic turn, Janelle is set to be released by a man who won't release his own wife. We'll break all of that down. Meanwhile, Janelle is preparing for Kody's return into her life, and her daughter Maddie steps in with a warning. Maddie reminds her mom that perhaps Kody is showing up not to reconcile but to stir chaos once again. Kody seems to have impeccable timing when it comes to Janelle, spending years devising ways to pull her back into his orbit. These days, Kody claims he has zero interest in polygamy, insisting he's completely done and would never consider it again. But in this episode, he decides to apologize to all the women to supposedly set them free, even though they've already been free for a while. Honestly, I think Kody's actions are more about creating a storyline, flexing control, and protecting his ego, and perhaps even trying to salvage his marriage with Robyn. Regardless, Janelle and her friends discussed how she's now ready to take the next step toward her spiritual release. Now, a bit of personal history. My mom came to save me from the polygamous lifestyle. No daughter of hers was going to be drawn into a cult. Interestingly, she ended up marrying Kody's dad months before I did. When they tied the knot, I remember thinking, this is going to be tricky to explain, but ultimately it felt okay. It was a bit strange at first, but I thought, all right, this is great. At least someone's here with me. A lot of Janelle's extended family didn't understand her choices. Many were hesitant to maintain contact, fearing she'd gone off the deep end. I really admire how Janelle's family is often portrayed as crazy, when in reality, they were simply concerned about her safety and the dangers of joining such a manipulative and potentially harmful group. Their concern was valid, and here's why. Let's rewind to some history. Janelle and Adam Barber got together in 1988, a period marked by serious violence within polygamous sects across Utah and the western United States. Back in 1978, the leader of the Apostolic United Brethren was targeted and killed by two spiritual wives of a so-called prophet named Robyn from Mexico, whose church had been founded by his brother. Robyn had split from his brother Joel and decided to eliminate all men claiming to be prophets, whom he deemed false. In his belief system, some sins couldn't be atoned for through Jesus' death, and followers were given righteous permission to take another's life if they believed a grievous sin remained unatoned. Robyn went on a war path to eliminate these self-proclaimed prophets. During his lifetime, he killed his brother Joel, and one of his other brothers died under mysterious circumstances in a car accident. He also took out Rulon Allred. Robyn was eventually convicted for Rulon Allred's death, but he and the wives who helped were later acquitted. It's a tangled, shocking story, but he ultimately died in prison. After his death, his followers continued to act on his radical teachings. Robyn had created a hit list of people he wanted eliminated. His younger followers took it upon themselves to carry out these acts, even after he had passed away. I interviewed his daughters, Anna and Celia LeBaron, a few years ago. They spoke about their father, whom they didn't know well, and described how prolific he was as a writer, leaving behind texts and teachings that inspire these violent acts. So, when Janelle joined this community, she was stepping into a group already at the center of serious factional violence. This escalated in June 1988 in Texas, when followers of Robyn decided to finish the work he had started, targeting former members who had left the sect. They struck at multiple sites around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, attacking those they deemed under the doctrine of blood atonement. During these attacks, Marth Chenoweth was shot 3 times in Houston. At another location in Houston, Dwayne Chenoweth and his daughter Jenny were killed. The daughter became an innocent victim, simply by being present when her father was targeted. And sadly, the daughter became an innocent victim simply by being present when her father was attacked. Not long after, Ed Marin, who was at his business in a Dallas suburb, was also killed just hours later. This marked a peak in violence within the sect. Both internal power struggles and outright sect-on-sect bloodshed were happening simultaneously. By the time Janelle decided to join, the Allred group was already steeped in dark and dangerous practices. Rulon Allred had been killed back in 1978, and Owen Allred had taken over leadership. Around this period, it was revealed that certain leaders within the church claimed to be descendants of Jesus, believing their bloodlines had to remain pure. Shockingly, some men were abusing this belief, engaging in sexual relations with their daughters to maintain purity. On top of that, another leader in the sect was reportedly using medical practices, including colonics, to manipulate and sexually exploit both men and women. These extreme actions led to a massive exodus of followers from the Apostolic United Brethren during the late 1980s, continuing through the 1990s and even into the 2000s. In the late 1990s in Utah, a man at the Bluffdale Church was gruesomely killed. His throat was slit in yet another case of blood atonement. This horrifying incident occurred at the same church Janelle herself had attended. Soon after she joined the AUB, one of the brethren, Gustavo Palacios, was arrested for sexually abusing his stepdaughters, which was justified by the group's disturbing doctrines. Even more shocking, Gustavo's wife, who happens to be Christine Brown's first cousin, was also arrested for helping and allowing these crimes to occur. Around the same time, a woman named Virginia Hill filed a lawsuit against the Apostolic United Brethren, claiming the group stole over $1 million from her and used it to purchase property, which remains in the cult's possession today. Owen Allred was implicated in this embezzlement. Considering all this, Janelle's family had every reason to be concerned for her safety. They likely distanced themselves not out of malice, but because they feared for her well-being and understood the LDS Church's strict opposition to polygamy. It's important to note this. Her family wasn't being cruel. They were trying to protect her from a deeply manipulative, coercive, and dangerous group, known in the past for even kidnapping members. They wanted Janelle out, but she wasn't ready to leave. She continued to defend her involvement, though now she's at least exploring the possibility of departure. Janelle explained that she entered this community idealistically, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be amazing." But conflict arose almost immediately, and she quickly realized that it was very different from what she imagined. There was never a clear exit plan, but she was fully committed to her faith, determined to navigate the challenges she faced. I want to share this to highlight something important. When someone converts into a cult, they often become even more rigid and committed to the beliefs they choose, compared to people who grow up in it and later realize the deception. If someone converts and sacrifices family, friends, and personal freedom to follow what they believe is a righteous path, they are often willing to ignore red flags, even when abuse and conflict surface. In Janelle's case, the conflicts she mentioned were really forms of abuse. What she endured with Mary and with Kody was abusive, yet at the time, she was a true believer. Now, she's in a position where she wants to move on and seek a spiritual release, a step she only considered after learning about it from Mary. When asked if she would ever go to counseling with Kody or Robyn to try and resolve things, she made it clear, "No, I don't like them. Absolutely not. Why would I even need to do that?" The answer is simple. She's ready to sever ties fully, not patch them up. Of course, there's no legal marriage here, so no legal divorce is necessary. But a spiritual release is essential. It officially ends the spiritual covenant she made when married. Her friends have been encouraging her to take this step, urging her to move on. But Janelle remains caught in the mindset that she's still bound to Kody spiritually. This is because, when she was married to him in the EUB temple, they received a blessing connecting them for time and all eternity. According to the teachings, even if a woman is separated from her husband, she is told that the only way to reach heaven is to remain celibate and faithful, remaining committed to her husband in absentia to reach the celestial kingdom. Janelle admits that she still feels like Kody's wife and cannot be with anyone else until that spiritual connection is severed. Her next step is clear. She needs to obtain a spiritual release to officially break the bond. She even said in another clip that if she dies and her religion proves to be true, She doesn't want to be stuck in heaven married to Kody. She wants that freedom from him. I just need to make sure that every little piece is in place. But now, I feel like it's really time to cut all ties with Kody completely. This has become more of a focus in my mind because I genuinely want to sever that final connection. Whether it's something I imagine or something I feel is still there, I just need to make sure all the ties are gone. You know, what if my religion is correct and I wake up in heaven still married to him? I'm like, oh no, I am not letting that happen. You know what I mean? It's interesting because almost nobody else on the show, except maybe Robyn, still calls it their religion. Kody openly says he doesn't believe in it anymore. In this episode, Meri is very clear that she has zero faith in the system. She says she would never practice polygamy again. She doesn't believe in the faith at all. She even admits, I don't know if I'll go to heaven. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I am not going to live a faith that demands something I don't believe in. Meri doesn't even refer to it as her faith anymore. Christine also doesn't call it her faith. Janelle, however, still refers to it as her religion. She holds on to that aspect of it, and shedding it will take a long time, if she ever does. That said, she did successfully obtain her spiritual release. Kody actually revealed this a week or two ago on Nick Vile's podcast, mentioning that 2 of his wives had received their releases. So yes, Janelle did get her release. To obtain this release, she had to approach the brethren and formally request it. Ultimately, the prophet, Dave Watson, granted it. Now, here's the irony. Dave Watson is currently being sued by one of his plural wives. She's challenging him over property they co-own, which he claims she has no claim to. She alleges he abandoned her, locked her out of their property, left for weeks at a time, focused entirely on his favorite wife, and refused to contribute financially to the family. She also claims that when she opened a natural food store, all the money went to Dave. She helped with his other business, and again, all the money went to him. In her lawsuit, she mentions that she has been seeking a release from Dave for years, but he continually refuses to grant it. I've even spoken with one of her daughters, Emily, about their experiences. Dave has also faced accusations of child abuse and physical abuse toward his wives. And yet, Janelle received her spiritual release from a man who is reportedly doing the exact same thing to his wife, Cherilyn, and others to this day. Dave claims to have 8 wives, but that's not accurate. 3 or 4 have left, and 1 remains but doesn't want to be there. She simply wants out, but he refuses to let her go. So the irony is striking. Janelle's leaving a situation with Kody to go back to a cult where the prophet's own wife is suing him for doing to her exactly what Kody had done to Janelle for years. I wish there were an easy way to remove the blinders for these women so they could see the reality of the situation. But the indoctrination and manipulation are so deeply ingrained, so coercive and constant. It taps into their entire faith-based worldview, affects their understanding of the afterlife, plays on their insecurities, and manipulates their idea of salvation. On top of that, it convinces them that they are destined to be gods and goddesses, creating a sense of ultimate righteousness. Letting go of all of that is incredibly difficult. Time and again, Janelle shows all the signs of being a smart, capable woman, yet she continues to make questionable choices. But now she has her spiritual release. Hopefully, she will stay out of that world for good, settle down in North Carolina, and move forward with her life. Her family had tried to help her years ago, but she was disconnected. Now, with her release in hand, ironically from someone even worse than Kody, she has a real chance to finally move on. So what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the bell so you never miss an update. Thank you so much for watching, besties. All for you.